What if I told you one of the most notorious serial killers in history was never caught or identified? A name that sends chills down the spine. Jack the Ripper. In the late summer of 1888, a dread began to creep over the Whitechapel district of London, a dread that would soon turn into abject terror as the city found itself in the grip of an unknown assailant who would go on to earn the chilling moniker Jack the Ripper. This shadowy figure, a spectre in the night, unleashed a reign of terror that left the city paralyzed with fear. His victims, all women from the downtrodden quarters of Whitechapel, were discovered in the early hours of the morning, their bodies bearing the horrific signature of the Ripper's gruesome handiwork. The brutality of the crimes sent shockwaves through Victorian society. The killer's modus operandi, a blend of savage brutality and what appeared to be a disturbing knowledge of human anatomy, left many speculating whether the perpetrator could have been a surgeon or a butcher. The city was in a state of panic. The press fed the public's fear with lurid tales of the Ripper's deeds. Despite a massive manhunt involving some of the most distinguished detectives of the era, the killer remained elusive, melting back into the foggy streets of Whitechapel as swiftly as he'd emerged. Over time, the name Jack the Ripper became synonymous with the faceless terror that had once held London in its icy grip. His identity, still unknown, remains one of the most enduring, unsolved mysteries in the annals of crime. Despite countless theories and a gallery of suspects, the true face of Jack the Ripper continues to evade us. As the fog descended on the city each night, so too did an inescapable fear, a fear of a name, a shadow, Jack the Ripper, a name that, even more than a century later, continues to echo through the annals of history, a chilling reminder of a mystery that may forever remain unsolved. The reign of terror began in the late summer of 1888. The victims were women, mostly prostitutes, working in the slums of Whitechapel. The first victim was Mary Ann Nichols, found in the early morning hours of August 31st. Her throat had been slashed twice and her abdomen mutilated with a deep jagged wound. The brutality continued. Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes and Mary Jane Kelly all met similar grisly ends. Each murder was more horrific than the last, the killer's confidence seemingly growing with each act. The victims weren't just murdered, they were butchered with an almost surgical precision that was both horrifying and perplexing. This led to one of the most chilling theories about the Ripper's identity, that he might have been a surgeon, a butcher, or someone with a deep understanding of human anatomy. The precision and speed with which the killings and mutilations were carried out suggested someone with a disturbing familiarity with the human body. The killer seemed to strike at random, his victims chosen seemingly for their vulnerability. He struck quickly and silently in the dead of night, leaving the bodies of his victims to be discovered in the cold light of dawn. His modus operandi was consistent, a slash to the throat followed by abdominal mutilation. The ghastly nature of these crimes sent shockwaves through the community, leading to widespread panic and fear. Yet for all the horror he wrought, the killer left behind little in the way of tangible evidence. Despite the best efforts of the police and a terrified public, Jack the Ripper remained elusive, a ghostly figure in the foggy streets of Whitechapel. The lack of any substantial clues only served to fuel the speculation and rumors that swirled around the case. Despite the gruesome nature of the crimes the killer left behind, little evidence, evading capture and leaving a city in fear. The Ripper's reign of terror may have ended in November of 1888, but the shadow he cast over the city and indeed the world lingers on, a chilling reminder of the depths of human depravity. With the city in panic, the police launched an extensive investigation and several suspects were considered. The Ripper's reign of terror was brief, but the list of potential culprits was long and the theories that emerged were as varied as they were numerous. First on our list is Montague John Druitt, a barrister and assistant schoolmaster. His suicide shortly after the last Ripper murder spiked suspicions. However, the evidence against Druitt is largely circumstantial and fails to provide a concrete connection to the gruesome killings. Next, we have Aaron Kosminski. A Polish barber residing in Whitechapel, Kosminski was admitted to an asylum due to deteriorating mental health around the time of the murders. His case has drawn renewed attention in recent years thanks to DNA analysis of crime scene artifacts. While this evidence is compelling, it is far from conclusive. Then there's Francis Tumblety, an American quack doctor known for his misogynistic views. Tumblety's presence in the East End during the murders, coupled with his movements and motives, make him a compelling suspect, albeit one that remains unproven. Lastly, we have Walter Sickert, a renowned painter. Some modern theorists suggest Sickert's morbid fascination with the Ripper crimes and peculiarities in his artwork hint at his involvement. However, this theory, like many others, is heavily disputed and lacks substantial evidence. Despite the plethora of suspects and theories, definitive evidence linking any one individual to the crimes has remained frustratingly out of reach. The passage of time has likely erased any remaining traces of the Ripper, and the truth of his identity seems to be as elusive as the shadowy figure himself. However, with advances in forensic science, particularly DNA profiling, the quest to unmask Jack the Ripper continues. Recent studies on letters sent to the police and artifacts from the crime scenes have provided intriguing, albeit not conclusive, insights. We spoke with historians and forensic experts who remind us that despite these technological advancements, the search for the Ripper's true identity remains a difficult, if not impossible, task. The mystery of Jack the Ripper, it seems, is one that may never be truly solved. Despite numerous suspects and theories, the true identity of Jack the Ripper remained elusive. The fascination with this unsolved case persists, not just because of the horror and mystery, but also because of the glimpse it offers into the social and cultural landscape of Victorian London. As we delve deeper into the foggy streets of history, the enigma of Jack the Ripper continues to captivate and confound us. The question remains, who was Jack the Ripper? Perhaps we will never know. But the search for answers, the pursuit of truth continues. And who knows? Perhaps one day the identity of this infamous killer will finally be revealed. Over a century later, the identity of Jack the Ripper continues to fascinate historians, criminologists, and true crime fans alike. The allure of this mystery is not only rooted in the gruesome nature of the crimes or the elusive character of the Ripper, but also in the enduring question mark that hovers over his identity. Each era, with its unique perspective and advancements, has revisited this conundrum, hoping to shed new light on the shadowy figure that once stalked the foggy streets of Whitechapel. The advent of modern forensic techniques has breathed new life into this age-old mystery, promising tantalizing possibilities. In recent years, DNA analysis has taken center stage in the ongoing investigation. Letters supposedly written by the Ripper, once dismissed as hoaxes, are now being re-examined. Could these letters contain the key to unmasking the Ripper? Or are they just another layer of the enigma weaved by a cunning mind to throw us off the scent? Artifacts from the crime scenes too have been subjected to rigorous examination. The hope is that these objects might hold unseen traces of the Ripper, fragments of truth that have survived the passage of time. Yet, despite these technological leaps, the identity of Jack the Ripper remains as elusive as ever. DNA analysis, while powerful, is not infallible. The degradation of samples, potential contamination, and the sheer passage of time present formidable obstacles. Each new piece of evidence seems to add more questions than answers, more shadows than light. This enduring fascination with the Ripper's identity is a testament to our collective desire to make sense of the past, to seek answers where there seem to be none. It's a quest for truth, a pursuit of justice, even if it's over 100 years late. Yet, the passage of time may have eroded any definitive evidence. The identity of Jack the Ripper may forever remain a mystery, a spectral figure cloaked in the fog of history, forever eluding our grasp. The story of Jack the Ripper is not just a tale of horror, it's a window into the social and cultural landscape of Victorian London. As we peer through this grimy pane, we see a society grappling with sweeping changes. The Ripper emerged from the shadows of a city in flux, a metropolis riddled with poverty, vice, and fear. The murders revealed the stark divide between the haves and the have-nots, the vulnerable and the protected. The frenzied media coverage, the bungled investigation, the rumors and suspicions, they all reflect a society on edge, struggling to understand and adapt to the rapid changes around them. The enduring fascination with this unsolved mystery isn't just about the horror of the crimes, but also about the glimpse it offers into a time and place far removed from our own. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the foggy streets of history. Until next time, keep seeking the truth behind the mystery.